Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. So I did a coolant flush on my 2000 Civic here a couple weeks ago, and guys, as I said in the video, if you notice that your level in the reservoir is constantly going down, that means you have a leak somewhere. Well, I've refilled the reservoir a couple times, so yes, I do have a leak. So guys, the places where you can have a leak is the upper and lower radiator hose, thermostat housing, water pump, or one of the heater lines that go to your heater core, and I guess the heater core as well. Other than that, guys, if you have a crack in the block, that can also be a cause of a leak, and if you have a crack in the block, then you're hooped. I mean, you need to replace the entire engine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a coolant pressure tester. Guys, once again, this is a loaner tool. You just pay a deposit and then you can borrow the tool. So, I mean, I don't actually have to spend any money. Guys, just for reference, the deposit for the coolant tester is $250, so it's not exactly cheap. But, hey, thank God for loaner tool, and just bring it back and you'll get your money back. So what we'll do now is the tools list. Alright, this is our tools list. So we have our pressure tester. I have two flashlights. I have a mirror, and then I have my drain pan. Guys, this is all we need for this job, so let's get started. Alright guys, so we're going to do our pressure test. So the most important thing about this test is the engine has to be cold. You need to wait 2 hours before you can do anything. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove our radiator cap. Alright guys, this is our radiator cap. They will normally have a PSI rating on it, but in this case, you don't see anything. So the 1.1 on the bottom, and then also engraved on this side here, the 1.1, that is 1.1 bar, which translates into about 16 pounds, 16 PSI. So that is the pressure rating for this system. So for this, it'll be pumped up to 16 pounds. So for our kit here, we have 3 different heads. I know this is the one that I need. So we're going to put it on, crank it until it stops. And now guys, the next thing is we have our head here, which has a handle on it. So with the handle, what you need to do is you need to turn it to depress this down. And now you can lock it on. Alright, so now it is locked on. So guys, the handle here is that you're going to turn it to push the spring down to break the lock. So now we have our pump with our gauge. Alright guys, this is the close-up of our gauge. So right where the blue arrow is, right in the middle, where it says 15, that is what we're going to pressurize the system to, because that is the operating pressure for the system. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to pump up our system to 15 pounds, and then we're going to start checking for leaks. Alright, our system is now pressurized, so we're going to start looking for leaks. So you're going to look for your thermostat housing, your upper hose, your lower hose. Guys, grab a mirror. You're going to look for your heating lines, as well as your sump plug. Alright guys, so we can see coolant right there dripping down. Now this is on the right side of the block, so my educated guess right now is this is the water pump that's leaking. Okay, so I took these two 10 mils just to get our splash cover out of the way. It's all over here. It's wet. So you can see it in the corner there. And it has to be the water pump. That's the only thing on this side of the block. Alright, so right there you see the fluid coming down. So guys, the only thing on this side of the engine is the water pump. So the water pump must be leaking. After checking everything else seems fine. My conclusion is that the water pump needs to be replaced. Well, it's original to the car, so that makes sense. We're at, 230,000 miles, 375,000 kilometers, and this is the original pump to the car, so that would make sense. Alright guys, so that concludes this project. So I didn't mention this when I did the coolant flush on this car, but guys, when you're doing your fluid flushes, so transmission, coolant, you can actually develop a leak after. Why? Because there may be sludge in the system that's actually plugging the leak. And once you clean the sludge out, now you have exposed that leak. But guys, long term, it's better to do your fluid flushes, because for your car, the fluid will get old. It's going to get dirty. Stuff like coolant, you have rust inhibitors in the coolant that will break down. So this is why it's important to keep doing your fluid flushes at regular intervals. The time on this job, the time was about a half an hour. It's a small car, it's straightforward. There's not too many things to contend with, so this is relatively easy. The cost of this job, I got the pressure tester from Lonatool, so I didn't pay anything. So in this case, the job is free. Guys, keep in mind, if you go to an automotive shop, for them to diagnose the issue, they're going to charge you for that as well, so it's not free. So this is definitely, if you do this on your own. The other thing is, if you do this on your own, you know what the problem is. They can tell you whatever they want. They can say it's the water pump when you just have a leaking hose, and charge you up the yin yang for it. And you have a lot of shops out there that are unfortunately dishonest. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.